there are 2 weeks left of the school year, and I decided to rearrange my whole classroom. And here's why. So I'm Miss Bethany. I'm a lower elementary teacher. And in my training, they were like, well, if you're changing anything for the next year, let your students know the year before, because, you know, you have your second years mostly coming back and your first year's mostly coming back. And then also, if you change it up, then the third years are like, oh, it's going to be different. It'll be fun to leave, you know, that kind of thing. So it prepares them to leave, and the second and third year, the first and second years for things to come. And then they could be part of the process. So in the training, they were like, well, let them know. And I was like, okay. So my letting them know this year was, we're going to do it together. And so I also wanted to do like rearrange, because if the floors end up getting done this year, like the tile floors end up getting done, things will all move anyways, and then I'll know exactly where to put them back when we come back in August. But and that way also, with the 2 weeks left, it's basically like they have 1 more week of work, and then we have like fun days. So with the 1 more week of work, I can see how the new layout kind of works. Just a little test run. Now I always change things, and maybe it will change in August what this looks like. But I have changed. I've been in this classroom. This would be my 4th year in this classroom. I was in a different classroom the year before, and then I taught at a different school for 3 years. So and in that first classroom I had, I really couldn't change anything because of how the heats were, and it was just like all up against the wall kind of shelves. And you could change the tables and stuff. In this classroom, I have changed so many things so many times, just because I like to change things up, and there's nothing wrong with changing things up. I will say, when I show you this, I have had a similar setup to this before, and I really didn't change the other half of the classroom. I really just changed this area, and I'll tell you why, and I'll show you right now. So as you can see, I have a really nice, lovely shelf that goes along here. And when the windows are open and the sun shining in, it's a lot of nice, fun shelves. So I put this here in case kids didn't want to work up against like the shelf things, but like their whole like binder and papers fit, like it's the perfect size for papers and stuff, which it looks kind of small, but when you actually put it down, it is the perfect size for papers. And then there's just a little bench they could sit on there, another like little chair thing. And then this, I used to put like cultural stuff on it when I had my map up over on that wall, but I was like, I think I finally just want to use it. I tried to use it as like a writing thing this year, but then just the like little book folders were on it, so, or the book series were on it. I mean, yeah, they were on it, but now they're have a table to work at, and I can always put stuff there. And this thing also has little shelves. So you're like, well, what was here before? I'll insert a clip of what it looked like previous. To this setup, I have video of it somewhere, and I kind of took a little video for Instagram, which is at Parts of Montessori if you want to see. Like the stuff isn't up there, but just to follow along with the classroom beforehand. So I just wanted to open up the window to bring more natural light in. So I'll show you what exactly I did over here. So this is the math area, and as you can tell in geometry, I might change some stuff. And I kind of brought the piece table over here. It was by the library, but it kind of just wasn't being used too much. So I'm like, if we bring it back over here, because I used to have the piece table along over here, but then I was like, I would really like a different place to put the big heavy this file cabinet. This is the teacher chair I teach in, but I was like, oh no, it might like hit into this, but it actually works perfectly here. And then it's kind of hidden because I previously had this here, that thing right over here, and there was just this shelf in front of it, so it was kind of hidden, but I kind of like that better. And it used to also be in a completely different part of the room, but I had that over there for like 2 years. But I was like, this is pretty. And in my very first time in this classroom, the math was on the other side of the room because it was hung up on a wall. And when they painted, they took it down so I could put it anywhere, and it's kind of hidden-ish. It just looks so nice, but the kids randomly decided at the end of the year they wanted to do chains again, and I was like, that's fine. Yeah. I'm going to rearrange some of the shelves. This kind of makes sense here because it's the addition with the addition, and then this has always been my geometry shelf, but I'm trying to do something different with geometry next year because after reading Montessori's book and talking about it at the book discussion I do once a month, Montessori really talks about, I have to make a whole video about what Montessori says about geometry, but let me tell you, it's not 3-part cards. So, I told the student that didn't belong there, but that's okay. The globe. So this is like the math area now, and then of course we have fractions. And now we come over here to the language area, and language shelves were up against the window over there. So that was that, you know. But I had, this is the same. I had this here, and like this whole spot was open, and that, I like it being open. It's just, I wanted to open up the windows a lot more. So I've had kind of a similar thing to this before. I didn't have a table here. I just had this shelf pushed up here. So it was literally like you just had this area just here up to here to walk in for language. But I found that no one really worked in that area, and it was just kind of like too small there. And then this shelf was just on the back end of this shelf, which didn't make sense because it bled into the math. And I don't know, I haven't had it like this big language area. This is for their portfolios. I might change it and put like printed like paperwork for them to come and get from there, and have them keep up their portfolios somewhere different with their daily work. But yep, this is the language area. It's bigger, and even if I could take this table out, I just kind of kept it there for now. And then I used to have like the piece table here. I've had the piece table up in that corner, and I really like that. But this might work nicely. And even if a kid wanted to work there, they could. This is not typically the piece table chair, but they just put that there. So yeah, math and language. So let me see if I could do a little bit of a zoom. So it's all basically math and language stuff. I didn't change anything in the coat area, but what I did change was I did change my board to be right here. It was previously just like sat right there in front of everything, and the portfolio thing was here with the pencils and paper stuff. I used to have my trash can here, and the fridge used to come up to here, but when I did the 60th celebration, a student that had been here in the past was like, there's no room to walk in, and like stared at it for 10 minutes, and I was like, well, maybe I should change it. And the reason why was because I had like an art thing here because of this is all art stuff. So I moved the art stuff actually into the alcove of my classroom. So it's not that it didn't fit. So it's just like the art cart and papers and stuff. I kind of have to reorganize this stuff. Not that it didn't fit in the classroom. I just thought it might be fun. And it's not saying, well, we can't do art stuff. It's just a way, it's kind of a special way. If they do art stuff, they can come open the classroom door and go into the hallway. And as you can see, nothing much changed in the cultural area. I did move this. What did change is this table used to be where the trash can was, but I was like, my idea is always to use this as a science table, and I do use it as a science table, and I did for the first couple of months, but then I had to move a different shelf, so then these things with the maps were on top of it and stuff, so it just is what it is, I guess. So we'll see how we use it. The kids could work there. I don't think this is staying there. This used to be up where the math things were. And then this used to be where like the piece table stuff was, but I just put our ottoman there, which used to just be here. We have the couch still, which I might need to get a new couch. It's kind of been like a lot of years. And then just the library. And then of course we put the computer table here. It used to just be right in the middle over there. I keep this table because that's what I had the computers on. It used to have like a thing, so it was like a hexagon with like a circle, and it used to be in this area, but I just wanted to keep the one, and it's a very awkward shape table, but it holds our chicken stuff if we ever do chickens nicely. But then of course you kind of saw that I still have 3 working tables and then a long kitchen table where they eat snack and lunch in that area. And so there's a lot more places to work now, because I opened up that shelf, or that window shelf, and that window shelf used to have like, I remember when I was a kid, it used to have symbolizing stuff on it, so like the grammar symbols, which was cute, but I just kind of did it as like a work thing, because I've never done that before. I did have one year, they did work on it in the middle, but then the 2 tables were coming out from it, and that's where they could work. But I thought this layout was kind of nice because I kind of like where the tables are right now. So there's a lot more room. And then also when the other language shelves were in front of there, it kind of split up the language shelf. So I kind of like this layout as of right now. It feels like a language area, a math area, and the cultural area. And before the math and cultural area, like my very first year, were switched, I think I'm going to do a review of every classroom video I have posted, so then I could see the difference in how I like things or how things work. But I'm pretty hopeful for this layout, although I was convinced in like February, I was like, I don't think I need to change anything this year. And then come the end of the year, I'm like, time for a change. But they loved helping organize, and they liked moving things, well, they didn't move things around. They just helped pick up stuff out on the floor and put things back. And they did help organize the colored papers in there, so that was nice. But okay, thank you for watching.